Guy here with OVM. So today I'm working on a 2006 Bombardier DS650. Customers complained that it will not start, so we're gonna have to go in and clean the carburetor. It's been sitting for a while. I already gave the fuel a smell. It definitely does not smell good. And he'll be ordering a battery. That's gonna have a jump box and just changing the oil. But the main thing is the carburetor. So let's get into that as the most important thing in this video. All right, come take a look at the bike. Big heavy quad, really fun to ride. The carburetor is right here, okay, and even when you try to push the throttle, it's stuck. It won't go all the way in, so my guess is it's completely gummed up around the butterfly. So I want to start by getting the seat off, some of these plastics off, and then pull the airbox back a little bit, you'll see, and we'll be able to pull the carb out and then get her on the bench and fully disassemble it. Okay, so you can loosen this clamp on the back of the carb and literally just pull it up. And then you have this clamp right here on this air hose, and another one, another breather hose here. Pull those back. Now the fuel line is a solid crimp right here. So I'm gonna go to the actual petcock, and I just took the clamp off at the petcock, right? This bad boy right back. Just like this. Okay, so now that that's back, and then I'm going to loosen the clamps on the carb, and she should pop down for me. So these clamps right here, the carburetor here. So I give it a little wiggle, and the carb should come down for me. Oop, I missed a hose. So don't forget this other hose right here on the back, underneath where this breather went. There's another one right there, so I need a needle hose to get in there. Just remember, team, none of the stuff we work on ever wants to cooperate. That one's super freaking tight. Haha, got it. Gotcha, sucker. So the throttle is actually stuck wide open. You can see the butterfly down in there. I'll move this freaking thing. The butterfly is wide open. Yay. So now I gotta get the plate to come down and then pop it off. Alright, the carburetor's out on the bench. One of the worst I've had to deal with in a long time getting out. Sorry I couldn't show you the rest of the procedure. But this plate is so freaking stuck, like it's bad. I barely was able to get the cable out, holding the camera and stuff. So let's start by getting it all cleaned up. Very typical of the sitting. Got extreme varnish. All right, hey everyone. Here's that carburetor out of that DS650 Bombardier. Top part apart. It's I did put it in. Not quite running right, so I need to take a closer look at things. Got the slide, the spring, you get the needle out, you reach in here, grab one of I have here is the starter jet, so choke. Go ahead and pull out the pilot adjust, idle adjustment, fuel at idle. Again, I was having a ton of running trouble at idle, and so I did take off some more pieces off the carb. Now what you have to do is follow the air. The goal for me was to clean the 3 little dots. Hard to see. Let's see if I flip around. So this just came out when I hit it with air, but there's three right down here. There's three little dots. Three little dots right there. They're all the junk just came out, as you can see. Okay, that is part of the idle circuit. So in order to get that junk out of there, I had to block off the pilot adjustment. So I cinched that down, not tight obviously, but all the way down to it stopped. Put the pilot jet back in, blocked off the back air jet with my finger. So basically I put my thumb on this one and my fingertip on the pilot jet, and I blew the air in. Okay, I'm blowing the air. It's going to clean the whole circuit out because I was having a hell of a time getting it to idle right. So stick this in here. You can see all the stuff still coming out. Look right there. All that buildup right there is still coming out of those three holes. All this disgusting varnish and old fuel. Look at that, it's still pushing stuff out. Okay, team, the final thing that was clogged for me was these three little guys right here. Three little holes that help transition. You can see idle, you can see one of the holes. Okay, and as you come off, you'll gain two more. Alright, so idle, you're just idling, hand off throttle. Okay, so you see one hole, and you come up and you get more. Neat, huh? And then the little nub you see sticking up right here in the middle is the actual adjustment. You can adjust for the fuel at idle. Okay, time to put this thing back together. We're putting the pilot back in. Put the whole main jet assembly, which is plenty clean, back in. Again, I never even took out the starter jet. This is, again, a smaller jet, which is for the quote-unquote choke. It's actually an enrichener. Now we gotta get the float assembly back in. Here's the float assembly with the float needle. Gonna set her. Verify its operation, and that you're happy with it, and that it's not binding. So the main thing, you want to make sure that the needle in there is not binding, getting stuck. I just go down to it snug, and then I'll go back around and tighten them down with the screwdriver. Now you slide your needle back in, and you put this bad boy back in. So hear it click. Did you hear that click? That's it. And you'll slide you'll slide the slide back in. You have to get your spring. Put one screw in, and you can kind of see now how that lines up with the groove in there all the way around. Put one screw in a little bit, and you can just lift it up and see that it's lining up and staying in place. It's imperative that that stays in place. It doesn't have that gap, because then the slide's not going to operate properly and you'll lose your mid-range. And I finish it off with a screwdriver. Then I check for operation. Slide's sliding great. Okay, this carburetor's come a long way since starting this little endeavor. This was stuck and wouldn't even turn. It was stuck wide open, wouldn't close, so this is all clean. And now I'm confident the jets are good, so she should be good to go for install tomorrow. Alright team, let's get into the fun part of showing you how to get the cable, right? The cable piece back in here. It's just like a Rhino, to be honest. It looks exactly the same. They probably took the idea from Yamaha, cough cough. I'm going to take the cable here. I'm going to slide it right back in. I'm actually going to screw it all the way down to give us the maximum length of cable that we can have. And then I'll adjust it for the throttle in a minute. Okay, so you get that. And now you have to get this little brass piece, little punk brass piece here. Okay, we'll get her in the groove here. Do not drop this piece. If you lose it, you're screwed. I did for the Rhino, actually, I stuck my finger in here. And you open the throttle plate. Ah! Alright. There we go. Put the cover back on. Once you get her up in there, don't forget to plug in your air line here and back here, and then this top one. It's all back in, she's up and running.
Perfect.